everybody, today we're going to talk about Moxie Score. So we've just announced this new aspect of the MobileMoxie tools called Moxie Score, and Moxie Score is measured, of course, on the Moxie meter, and it's a comprehensive evaluation of how much of one particular SERP or search result you own, because at MobileMoxie we think that SEO is evolving, and it's evolving beyond, obsessing over how one site is ranking and doing all this analytics on what's happening on one particular URL without actually looking at what else is happening in the SERP and, where you rank other than just that one domain that you control. Because as SEOs, we do a lot of work on other sites that are not our own. We write articles and guest posts. We get mentioned in top 10 lists for the companies that we work for. We work on getting featured snippets and rich snippets and images in the SERP and knowledge graph, and all of these other things that most SEO tools are pretty hard at evaluating, and they certainly don't give you the visual representation. So for years, MobileMoxie has done a good job of giving you the visual representation of a mobile SERP from anywhere in the world on almost any phone with any language setting. That's our core thing. But what we've done with the Moxie Score is we've started parsing every single mobile SERP, and we'll be doing desktop soon. But we parse everything, including the ads, including all of Google's hosted inclusions like Knowledge Graph and interesting finds, and people also ask. We parse all of that. We show it to you in a grid where it says what it is and what percent of the SERP it takes up, what the pixel height is where it starts, what the traditional rank is, so how SEOs have traditionally counted rankings, what the actual rank is, because we think traditional rank is kind of a lost cause or outdated way of evaluating. So we count everything in order, everything that's there that might be pushing you down. So we compare traditional rank and actual rank, pixel height and percent of SERP. And then in the Moxie Score, we take all of that information and we weight it. We give it a weighting based on where it is, how high it is, how much space it is, and how hard it is to get. So for instance, Knowledge Graph is pretty hard to get, so that gives you more Moxie Score than just getting a regular blue link, even if it has a rich snippet. That has less Moxie Score, but if it's yours, it still has Moxie Score. So to manage this over time, what we do is when new customers come in, they go through a setup wizard that helps them set up their brand profile. And the brand profile is all of the main links that we know should show up for queries related to this brand. So things like the main domain, but also things like if there's a blog on a separate domain, if there's a podcast, if there's a international version of the site, if there's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any of the other socials, or even within a special niche, like let's say there's a restaurant and there's a restaurant social list or a Yelp listing that's just about us, things like that. We let you list those, put those URLs in so that when you're doing your testing, you can see that those things in your brand profile are impacting your Moxie Score because you've claimed them. So that's your Moxie. It's how much Moxie do you have on this SERP? How much do you own it? And so we say, we know that you own these things. But then the next step is, in any search result, we have a check mark if we know it's you, we have an X if we know it's not you, and we have a question mark if we're not sure or we want to let you claim it. So let's say you get a new listing on a top 10 list, best whatever it is in your industry. And that's starting to rank for the keywords that you care about. You should be able to claim that. And so you just click on the question mark and claim it, and then that gets saved to your brand profile. And forevermore, when we see that article, that top 10 list, we're going to say you own that part of the SERP, and that's going to give you credit towards your Moxie score. So that's kind of the idea, because we want to convey not just where you rank in the traditional way, because I think that, with a traditional ranking, you can still be halfway down the page if you're position 1, but you're below huge knowledge graph and a bunch of other things. So we want to give you a realistic idea of how you're doing in a particular SERP. Now, on the Moxie meter, we're also giving something called a MESS score. And I'm going to talk about a MESS score in another video. But essentially, the MESS score is how hard is it to rank in this SERP. So if you have a high Moxie score and a high MESS score, the MESS score is an evaluation of how hard is it to rank in the SERP. And that's got to do with how many Google things are in there, and how prominent are they, how much space are they taking, because doing things within the Google verse, when Google owns part of the SERP, that's much harder to displace than just another blue link. So we want to say, yeah, you have a really high Moxie score, and this is a really challenging result to have a high Moxie score on. Versus you could have a really high Moxie score on something that has a low MESS score. So it means that's really easy to rank for, or to rank on, or to own the SERP. And so Moxie score is not the exact inverse of MESS score, or vice versa. MESS score is not the exact inverse of Moxie score. You can have high on both, low on both, high on one, low on the other. And that's all normal. But we want to give you credit, not just for owning a SERP, but more credit for, or at least the ability to know when you own a SERP and it's a really challenging SERP. The converse of that is we want you to know when your SEO plans are targeting SERPs that are really, really challenging versus when you might have an opportunity to do a lot of good with SEO and get a lot of Moxie score really fast because this SERP in particular has a low MESS score. So we'll talk about that more in another video, but this is just an introduction. It's already been released. We've been trying it out. We have, like I said, pretty complicated algorithm that evaluates the Moxie score, and we're going to keep fine-tuning it. And of course, our parsing is always looking for new things that we need to give you credit for and reevaluate and say, oh, now there's this new thing, and how much Moxie score should that give, and what does that look like? That's kind of our jam. And so we're really excited to hear your thoughts on the Moxie score, and if you think it's going to be valuable, as well as the MESS score. And we hope that you like it. And if you haven't seen it, go ahead and sign up for a free trial on the Moxie tools, MobileMoxie tools, and you'll be able to check it out. So thanks very much.
If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. To be notified about future videos, click the logo. And to try the MobileMoxie Mobile SEO Toolset, use the promo code YouTube to get 30 days free. They're mobile-first SEO tools for a mobile-first world.